welcome, and welcome to our resident acting director, DJ. We're going to do something new for you this evening. We are going to go through a Broadway show, and we're going to read the character descriptions. Now, DJ has directed for how many years you've been directing, DJ?
Oh my gosh, I'm old. So, I've been doing professional SDC work since 1995.
Okay, so you have spent a lot of years behind the table.
Yeah.
You're going to be directing Beautiful. So what I'm going to do is read the character descriptions that are in MTI, and what I want to do for the viewers is, from a director's perspective, read between the lines there and fill in any blanks and talk a little bit further into what a director, what you'll be looking for, but also just what any director probably is going to be looking for in these characters. So let's just start with Carole herself. The description in MTI says, an aspiring singer-songwriter, a unique, appealing, funny, and vulnerable girl from a Jewish family in Brooklyn. Talented, good-natured, unassuming, and often the peacemaker in difficult situations. A reluctant star with no pretense and a passion for music. What would you emphasize on that, and then what would you add to that?
Sure. Of course, you get two kinds of information, right? You get the specifics of from a Jewish family and singer-songwriter. So there's like things about the character that are just really story-based. She was a singer-songwriter. It's based on a true story, a real human. She was from a Jewish family. But it's the other things that are the adjectives that whoever wrote, that's what I want to lean into. Appealing, unique, appealing, unique. So I could find other synonyms for those words. So appealing, I think there's a charisma that the actor for Carole must have. And it's that thing of just being this inviting energy. As it says, she's a peacemaker, so she's not bombastic. She's a good performer, but it's not a in-your-face presentational performance quality. It's more come to me. So that sort of come to me, welcoming, nurturing to a degree, quality is what I would be looking for in a character. It's a unique piece in the sense that you're also basing it upon a real human. I don't hold tight to the idea that somebody is going to impersonate Carole King, the actual living human being, but there's a sensibility that when somebody's in the ballpark as a sort of a type like her, that relaxed, more casual but inviting personality, that's what I would look for. I've seen some tapes already, and it's pretty quick when I can say that's somebody I see as a Carole, and that's somebody who I don't see as a Carole. It doesn't mean they're not capable. They're capable. They have the chops, they have the voice, they may have the look if there's a look, but I know there's a real distinction. I go, that I believe right away, and that's a person who's skilled, but isn't how I would see Carole. So one of the videos that I saw, nice young woman, certainly talented. Her vocal chops she was a very good singer, much more musical theater, much more of the vibrato that is not unappealing or off-putting in musical theater terms. It just doesn't feel like Carole. Pop vocals is really important because the audience is going to come in with expectations. They will. That's why this particular piece and this particular role is it's a little narrower. It's a little less open to interpretation of a role. That being said, if you get to somebody like Cynthia Weil or Gerry or Barry Mann, does the audience have a sense of them? No. So there's less expectation from an audience perspective of what they might show up like.
There's not near as much about Gerry, by the way. Carole's boyfriend, songwriting partner, and eventual husband. Innately sympathetic, wounded, and tortured. That's interesting to me, and I really want your take on that. An ambitious artist, always striving for more.
Yeah. Yes. Back to what we're saying. We don't have a clear picture of what he would have looked like. Maybe a few people in the audience would know, but on the whole, no. Or behavior, because Carole was in the public eye as a singer. So we have a sense of her behavior. We saw her on TV. So Gerry, we don't have that. When it says wounded but sympathetic, we want to have an audience fall in love with him as Carole does immediately. So that quality of being sympathetic, likable right off the bat is very important. What's tricky, and I think Gerry's a difficult role, and I've had this said to me by a casting director who's cast the show several times for different companies. Gerry's tricky because he's likable and there's a touch of aw shucks warmth about him, but we find out in the course of the piece that he probably has something that today was never labeled in the show, but we would probably call it bipolar disorder.
Hmm.
So I really am looking for an actor's actor who can lay in the be likable, but lay in some layers that I know early that when we do get it is revealed that he's got some mental concerns that's been laid in early. And
Hmm.
that takes a subtle, very careful crafting by the actor. So I'm going to look for a really strong actor. Does he need to sing? Yeah, he needs to sing. But I'm going to be really focused on what can he deliver as an actor in the scene work. Then there's Barry Mann. Let's talk about Barry. Go ahead and do Barry.
But here's his description. A songwriter who becomes romantically involved with Cynthia. He is good-natured, appealing, and neurotic. Ambitious but likable. His description is even shorter.
Yeah, ambitious, likable, neurotic. The what tends to be true in the structure of Beautiful is it's not a big comedy, but you need comedy in any musical, in any show that's like this. He and Cynthia together really lift up and are a lot of the humor in the show. So his neuroses, which plays out as his hypochondria, is a big part of the comedy and
Right.
her ribbing of him about it. And so you need somebody who's it's tricky because he's the straight man to Cynthia's barbs. So the sincerity, the truth of his hypochondria, he's not making fun of. He's a hypochondriac, and she's the one that gets the digs in about it. Commitment. I was just like, I need an actor who's going to commit to understanding. I'm setting it up. I'm setting up the possibility of her mocking of my hypochondria, and he has a song that he sits and sings with a guitar. And it's one of those moments in the show where that's all that's happening. It's
Hmm.
still in the context of a scene. He's introducing a song that he's written, and it needs to kill. So vocally, it's a high bar. You need somebody who's just going to sit with a guitar and sing, and you're like riveted because it's the sound of a whole time period. So again, back to pop chops. There can be nothing musical theater about Barry's voice. Nothing. Cynthia's a little roomier, so let's go to Cynthia.
Yeah. So Cynthia, a songwriter who becomes romantically involved with Barry, Carol's best friend. She's sophisticated, smart and chic with a quick wit. Although self-confident and sarcastic, she's also extremely likable.
And isn't it funny? All four characters likable. Yes. Warm, sympathetic. We want to lean in and get to know them as friends. Cynthia, again, she's the top banana in terms of like delivering the barbs that are sarcastic and funny. Though she must sing and sing well, it doesn't have to have quite the same period specific sound as Carole and specifically Barry. So
They kind of
there's
set her up with the parody that she does of,
but happy days are here
yeah,
again. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it can be a little more musical theater. So I would not be worried if I saw a great comic actor who had a more musical theater voice. I will lean toward their ability as a comic actor rather than hinging casting on a vocal quality. Barry, it's got to be there.
That's so
Carole has to be there.
so that's so interesting, and that because I want to point that out for the listeners is even within shows,
Mm.
the in pop rock shows, even within the pop rock show, there
Mhm.
can be differentiation on what you need, how
Yeah,
much of style you need from one character to the next. So it really is about knowing the show and the character.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In casting, you're looking for the core things that are vitally important, and then there's a little room to play outside of that.
Yeah.
But again, Carole, warm, inviting, casual is the word I come to. It's not really the right word, but I think you get what I mean. It's not bombastic, it's not presentational.
It's
Cynthia,
unassuming. There's just
unassuming, and just where Cynthia can be more of a here I am. It's just
right.
that quality. So there too, the two types of performer are very different. But yes, to your point, the vocal colors can range in terms of genre within one show.
So here's actually arguably my favorite. He's close. He's close to my. It was actually Don Kirshner was one of my favorite characters in the show.
Oh yeah.
An influential music publisher and producer. He's a fast-talking, energetic force of nature, powerful, direct, and sometimes intimidating. But he has a real affinity for his writers and artists. A hit maker. I just
Yeah.
think they just give him so many great little
Yes. Yeah. And I have
moments.
some, I will not say that the role has been precast, but I immediately leapt to an actor that I know.
Mm.
And that's a good thing because then I think I know, I think I know the character, right? Because I go, that person is right on the money because all those qualities are in this actor. It's just their essence is all those things. Forward, not forceful, but forward, and confident, in command, but not hard. There's a softness, even though there's a commanding presence.
Then the final one, this is the non-singing role, and then I want to talk for a second about the ensemble, which truly they are impersonating specific people.
Yeah.
But Jeannie Klein, Carol's Jewish mother, once an aspiring playwright, she's been broken down by life and her husband's infidelity, protective of Carol and unforgiving of her husband's mistakes.
Yeah, interesting that they go that deep into the unforgiving of her husband's mistakes because it doesn't really play in the course of the play. You don't really get a lot of that. She is a moment of lightness in the show. She lifts moments in the show. And I will say, I do think it's tricky to say, but you want somebody who is understanding of the time and place. And when I say place, New York City and the ethnic heritage, and delivers a believable character that falls into not stereotypes, but rhythms of speech that we go, I believe that person's from the boroughs of New York City in the late 50s, early 60s. And not everybody has that skill. Not everybody has that skill to deliver it without it sounding like some form of overwrought stereotype of a sound.
Right. So those are like your core, and then you have your ensemble that's covering like Neil Sedaka and Lou Adler and Bobby V and the Drifters and the Shirelles and the Righteous Brothers and Little Eva and all. So when you're casting your ensemble, that it feels like an extra step for an ensemble in a way because you are being specific groups.
Let's stick just for the moment for this video to the Shirelles, a girl group three, and each of those three then becomes somebody else. So that's what's true about this ensemble is that you're looking for range. They must sing well in harmony. The Shirelles, the four men that play the Drifters, the man that plays Neil Sedaka also plays the tenor of the Righteous Brothers. And I think he's another character in Act Two. You can vary, but typically I think he's Lou Adler in Act Two. But the other Righteous Brother is also other characters. So you need actors that are good at character work. That are good at character work. But it starts with the bar of do you get this period style vocally? The Shirelles have to sing in great tight harmony. The Drifters have to sing in great tight harmony and move. It's not a big dance show, but you have to have people that are very coordinated, especially the on Broadway number, Locomotion. Those are the bigger production numbers. So they have to move really well. So it's a kind of a high bar for the ensemble. It really
Yeah.
is. They're rangy. For example, like one of the Shirelles is Little Eva. One of the Shirelles is Janelle Woods. One of the Shirelles is the secretary to Don Kirshner. So they're real stepping out roles that are acting roles. And they also have to know the style of the music and deliver there and move. So
Like,
yeah,
so in many cases, as we find sometimes, the ensemble is the biggest ask.
it's a big ask. Yeah.
It's the big ask
Just
of the actor.
step back a little bit with Carole. I had entertained the thought of trying to find a Carole who plays piano,
Hmm.
and some were submitted that do play piano. What we discovered, me working with the set designer, the pianos in the show move so much that to have a live piano on stage is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So you want them to be able to fake it real good,
Yeah.
I have let go of the idea that I need a Carole who actually plays piano.
Yeah.
That was discovered for me. I thought, what a great idea. She can, if we find somebody who really plays, and I was like, oh, it won't even come into being because the pianos are all over the stage all the time, on and off and
Yeah.
on and on and on. I've seen several videotapes of performances by people who've done the role before. I don't know that I could tell you which were actually playing and which weren't.
Oh, wow.
Meaning the people that, whether they're live playing or not, do play piano and can look as if they're really playing piano. I couldn't tell you which were the ones that know how to play piano and which were
Huh.
pretending and made me believe them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. And guys, if this was useful to you, please let us know and we will unpack some other
Yeah.
shows. But we wanted to give you some, I know me as an actor, a lot of times give me as many details as I can have before I walk in, and especially more than if there's more to be found out than two lines
And
on
yeah,
it,
yeah.
then I want that we wanted to provide you with as much as we can. So thanks, CJ.
Sure. My pleasure.